The humanitarian crisis continues. In 15 months, hospitals, homes, schools, shelters have all been decimated. At least 45,000 Palestinians have died. But within all this hell has definitely come some angels. Doctors like Syed Sayeed is one of them. He has been to Gaza multiple times since the start of this war. Matter of fact, he was just working in a hospital there as recently as a few days ago. Dr. Sayeed, it is so great to have you back.
Thank you for having me on the show.
It's a pleasure. Tell me what you were doing just a few days ago, and also how you feel about this truce that is more fragile than we thought.
So I just returned, not this Friday, but the Friday prior. I spent New Year's Day in Gaza City. I was at Ahli Hospital, which is north of the dividing line between the south and the north of Gaza. I spent a number of days there operating as a plastic surgeon, supporting a local plastic surgeon who was actually in retirement prior to October 2023 and came out of retirement to help his people as the only plastic surgeon serving that northern portion of Gaza. I performed a number of operations, assisting him and teaching him some of the complex reconstructive procedures that are needed for the patients there.
Give me some more details, if you don't mind, the type of reconstruction surgeries you had to do. I don't think folks realize how so many people have been clinging to their lives in these hospital rooms, and with the gift of what you do, what you were able to accomplish in the operating room.
Sure, I can set the stage for you to get an idea of what I saw going in. So I was primarily stationed at the Ahli Baptist Hospital, which is a hospital supported by the Christian community internationally. It's in Gaza City. And when you walk in, there are a number of buildings on the campus. One of them is a building which has some blue windows, which are blown out from the attack on the compound earlier on in the conflict. And this building was actually supported by the Americans and U.S. aid. The bottom of this building contains a CAT scanner, and the top buildings are the top floors are actually uninhabited because of the damage. There's a smaller building that contains an operating room and a few floors where there's some makeshift wards. There's a church on the campus also, which has been converted into an internal medicine ward, where when you walk in, there are curtains dividing the room into multiple smaller rooms, and their patients and their family members behind these curtains. There's also a library, which was converted into a wing for surgical patients and patients with other injuries. When you walk into these wards, they try to give the patients as much privacy as they can, but just imagine walking into a large room with not really curtains, but makeshift curtains with bed sheets and whatever people can get hung up, and there are patients behind here. There are flies constantly in the environment. There are people trying to carry on their daily life behind these curtains, so their family members eating their food. The conditions are not sterile at all. And when you walk through the campus, you see people walking around with extensive injuries who are coming back and forth from wherever they're residing, whether it be a tent or a building or a structure that's partially damaged. And they're walking around with these large injuries, getting outpatient care in some of the outpatient buildings. There are some tents also set up on the campus that are trying to provide care for patients. And remember, there has been no outside electricity coming into Gaza since October 2023. The only electricity they have, and some of the images you put up, they show lights. These lights are only available if the institution or the building has solar panels with battery backup, or they have generators that are run by fuel. So I think the public should be aware that there's been absolutely no outside electricity coming into Gaza, and the Gaza power plants, which were destroyed, are unable to provide electricity that's much needed.
Well, clearly, you just laid out exactly everything that needs to be done once this ceasefire takes effect. I know a lot of people are holding out hope that something will happen. And then through your example, I think we see exactly what the medical community is going to need immediately. Dr. Sayeed, I know you're going to go back. I hope it is during better circumstances. I hope you will join us again to give us an update, hopefully, on what has improved. Really appreciate what you're doing.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.